A lot of marketeers cite, or 72% of marketeers cited that being brave was critical when you were launching. How do you, Martin, this is probably a question to you, how do you get to a point by the time a launch reaches market for the idea not to be diluted?
I think a creative director once described executing a successful campaign as like a 1,000 hurdle race. Because everybody high fives when they come up with a great idea, but actually there are 1,000 different decisions between coming up with the idea and executing the idea that can make it wonderful or can make it just mediocre. And if you get every single one of those decisions right, it's brilliant. Nobody gets every single one of those decisions right, so you aim for most of those decisions. A lot of the things that stop a bold, creative idea from happening, well, there are two things really. One is it's not fireproofed enough, so there's not enough rigor around it other than we really like it and it's bold, why don't we do it? Nobody's going to put their career on the line for that. So you have to really, really understand strategically from an insight perspective. You've got to keep coming back to the people you're talking to, the consumer. Are they going to love it? What research do you have to back up that they will love something like this? So you've got to really try and rigorously fireproof the idea. Creatives love ideas, but you've got to make it tangible and make it buyable for the client. And then the other thing is, if it's really bold and creative, there is a level of fear. And I think people, if they're going to do bold and creative ideas, need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Years ago, we did a launch campaign for a dental insurance company, which is, not exactly the most glamorous industry in the world. But they wanted something bold and creative, and we said, okay, fine, we're going to do something bold and creative. And we said to them up front, we said, if you were not really, the exact words I said, if you're not shitting yourself the night before this launches, we haven't done our job. That was the exact words we used. Because you want something bold and creative, which means you have to be uncomfortable with it. So we will do our best to fireproof it, but there is a gap you can't guarantee. And so there is a certain level of trust and faith, but you have to get comfortable with the idea that you're a bit edgy about it, you're a bit uncomfortable about it, because if you're not, it's kind of where you are anyway.
Any other observations from the panel in that respect? Lee?
Yeah, I mean, you do have to be brave. I mean, the Walt Disney Company, a lot of the time it's making sure that we're not overly governing it ourselves. I mean, and thinking for the consumer. I mean, the brand is obviously very important and of utmost importance, but just making sure that you're asking the right challenging questions and that you can see the finishing line and you can convince people of what getting to that finishing line will deliver. I mean, it's a funny little example, but again, another animated film called Wreck-It Ralph, which was all set in the 8-bit world. And we had this idea to turn the Truman Brewery Street into 8-bit lane for a few days and turn everything 8-bit there. But the organization understood the concept, but they didn't understand that we would take Disney, the name, off it. It's like, well, if this is effective explorational marketing, surely the name needs to be on it. And the point was, it wasn't about that. It was about discovering it and it being surprised by it. And so it was trying to get that over the line to convince people that it was a significant investment that wasn't, it wasn't easily translated into the movie, but it brought people on board, and it was an idea that got a great deal of coverage. But it was the challenge was trying to ensure that it didn't get diluted through that process, and you walked into Truman Lane, or I forget the name of the street in Old Street Way, but it didn't say Disney above, the entrance. That would have been a disaster, and it worked. So, yeah.
I remember that. I remember that a few years ago. It's fantastic.
Well,
I think the other thing is the way we're kind of approaching it in an organisation that isn't naturally marketing led is actually just showing by results. So putting some of those bold and more creative ideas out there, perhaps on a smaller scale, and just building that confidence. So we're not quite at shitting ourselves the night before, but we're mildly concerned at the moment.
Slightly restless.
Yeah.